All right, welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Absolutely. Always ready to get into the nitty-gritty.
Well, today we're diving into something that might sound a little, well, dry at first glance.
Ooh.
Lay it on me. Quibic's new anti-dust feature. But trust me, this is way more interesting than it sounds.
I have to admit, the name doesn't exactly scream exciting, but I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I know, right? But we've been digging into the details straight from the developers themselves, and this thing has implications not just for security, which you might expect,
Right.
but also for network efficiency, even the Qubic supply itself.
Okay, now you've got my attention.
So to really get this, we got to start with the basics. What even is a dusting attack?
Well, think about it like this. We've all gotten junk mail, right?
Oh, absolutely. My recycling bin hates it.
Right. It just clutters everything up. Sometimes it feels even dangerous, especially if it's some scam.
Ugh, yeah, those are the worst.
Well, dusting attacks are kind of the blockchain version of that.
Okay, so instead of sending physical junk mail,
Attackers send tiny amounts of cryptocurrency to tons of different addresses.
like how tiny are we talking?
So small, they're practically worthless. That's why they call it dust.
So if it's worthless, what's the point? What are they trying to do?
It's not about stealing your funds, it's more sneaky. They're trying to figure out who you are.
Ah, de-anonymize you, track your transactions, that IS sneaky.
Exactly. So imagine you use different wallets for different things.
Makes sense. One for shopping, one for savings, maybe one for less than legal stuff, hypothetically speaking, of course.
Hypothetically, sure. But if an attacker can link all those together, they build up a whole picture of your financial activity.
Not good. So what can you even do about that? Sounds tricky to block.
Well, the traditional approach is to try and block the dust outright, but that can be super resource intensive.
And probably not even that effective.
Right. So Quibic's doing something totally different, something kind of brilliant, actually. They're burning it.
Burning it. Literally deleting it. Poof, gone.
Basically, yeah. Any balance under a certain amount just gets wiped.
Wait, so if I have Qubic, am I just going to lose it?
Don't worry, it only applies to these tiny dust amounts, like right now, anything under 1 QBIC.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
And your address itself stays active, so you don't lose access or anything.
So basically, they're cleaning up the network, getting rid of the clutter.
Exactly. And here's the really cool part of this threshold, the 1 QBIC. It's not set in stone.
Oh, so it can change.
It's dynamic. It adjusts based on all sorts of things, like how active the network is, the cost of transactions, even the value of Qubic itself.
So it's kind of like a self-adjusting thermostat or something.
Perfect analogy. It keeps the network running smoothly no matter what's going on.
Smart. So it's not just a one-time fix, it's constantly adapting.
Right. And that leads to some really big benefits for users, not just in terms of security.
Oh, this is going even deeper than I thought. All right, I'm hooked. Tell me more. Okay, so we're getting rid of the dust. The network is cleaner. I'm guessing that means things run a bit faster.
Exactly. Think of it like decluttering your computer. Fewer files means it can process things faster. Same idea here. Transactions get through quicker and smoother because there's just less data to deal with.
So faster transactions, that's a win for everyone.
It is. But it also helps with that whole de-anonymization thing we talked about.
Right, the attackers trying to link your wallets together.
Exactly. By getting rid of the dust, Quabic's making it way harder for them to connect the dots.
So a faster network A&D, more privacy and security, that's impressive.
It really is. And there's another really interesting side effect of all this burning. Think about the Qubic supply itself.
Okay.
Every time these tiny balances get burned, a tiny bit of Qubic is permanently gone.
So the total supply actually shrinks.
Yep. It's a very subtle thing, but over time it could have a real impact on the value of Qubic.
Makes sense. Less supply, more demand, price goes up.
Exactly. And if more people start using Qubic, more transactions happening, that effect just gets stronger.
Wow, so this feature isn't just about security. It's about efficiency, privacy, even the economics of the whole Qubic ecosystem. That's wild.
It really is. And it's not just some random feature they tacked on. It's part of a much bigger picture for Qubic. They're thinking long-term, you know?
Yeah, building a network that's not just secure and efficient today, but also adaptable and resilient for the future.
Exactly. Because, let's face it, the blockchain world changes fast. This anti-dust thing, it's a proactive solution to a problem that's probably only going to get bigger as blockchain becomes more popular.
I thought they're staying ahead of the curve.
Exactly. And the best part, this solution, it benefits everyone. Users get a faster, more private, more secure network, and the whole Qubic ecosystem becomes stronger and more sustainable.
Everyone wins. All right, so we've talked a lot about the what and the why of this anti-dust feature, but there's one thing I'm super curious about. You mentioned that threshold, the 1 QUBIC limit, being dynamic. But how does that actually work? Can anyone just change it whenever they want?
That's a great question. And the answer is, well, kind of. Remember how we said it's based on things like network activity and cost of transactions?
Yeah.
Well, the system is designed to automatically adjust the threshold based on those factors. So it's not like any single person can just go in and change it. It's more like the network itself decides what the threshold needs to be to keep things running smoothly.
Ah, so it's like a self-governing system. That's really cool.
It is, and it's one of those things that makes Qubic so unique. They're really committed to building a truly decentralized and community-driven network.
Okay, but let's say I'm a user, and I want to know what the current threshold is. Can I even find that information?
Absolutely. This is actually one of my favorite things about this whole feature. You can actually query the core nodes and see what the current threshold is at any given time.
Wait, seriously? Anyone can just check?
Yep. Total transparency, which honestly is pretty rare in the blockchain world. And it's super valuable for security researchers, anyone who wants to monitor the health of the network.
So if there was, say, a sudden increase in dusting attacks, we might see that threshold go up to try and combat that.
Exactly. And because it's all out in the open, the community can see how the network is adapting, how it's responding to different situations.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It really feels like Qubic is inviting everyone to be a part of making the network stronger. This isn't just about them as a company, it's about building a real community around Qubic.
Exactly. And that's what makes this whole thing so exciting to me. This anti-dust feature is just one piece of the puzzle, but it shows you the kind of future Qubic is building. A future where blockchain is more secure, more efficient, but also more transparent and user-friendly.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
All right, so we've covered a ton of ground, learned about dusting attacks, burning dust, dynamic thresholds, and how all of this ties into the big picture of Quabic's vision. But before we wrap things up, let's bring it back down to earth a bit. What does all of this mean for the average Qubic user? What do they actually need to know and do? That's the hidden Qubic question, right? So break it down for us. What's the average Joe Qubic holder got to do?
Well, the main thing is you don't have to panic. This whole thing is designed to protect you, not cause problems.
Okay, good to know.
Hmm.
But there's got to be some catches, right? Like, what if I have a tiny amount of Qubic, less than that 1 QBIC threshold?
Ah, good point. If that's you, it's probably a good idea to consolidate your Qubic.
Meaning?
Combine those small balances into one address, make sure it's above the threshold. That way nothing gets accidentally dusted.
So basically spring cleaning for my Qubic wallet.
Exactly. Now, another thing to keep in mind is if you use an exchange to hold your Qubic.
Right. Lots of folks do that.
Well, some exchanges might change their minimum deposit or withdrawal amounts because of this anti-dust feature.
Ah, so you don't deposit Qubic only to have it vanish because it's too small.
Precisely. Best thing to do is just check your exchange's policies, stay informed.
Makes sense. And I guess the same goes for keeping up with any changes to the network itself, right? Qubic seems to be pretty good about communicating with their users.
They are. Definitely follow their official channels, stay in the loop. Things move fast in the blockchain world. You got to keep up.
All right, great advice. Now, before we wrap things up, you said earlier that this whole anti-dust thing is about more than just security. It kind of hints at a bigger picture for Qubic, right?
Absolutely. It really shows how they're thinking about the future of blockchain, how to balance things like security, efficiency, and user experience.
It's tough, right? You want a network that's super secure, but also fast and easy to use for everyone.
Exactly. And sometimes it feels like you have to pick one or the other, but Qubic is proving you can have it all.
And this feature is just one example of that, how they're tackling complex problems with creative solutions.
It's inspiring, honestly. It makes you wonder what else they'll come up with. If they're willing to go to this length to combat dust attacks, what other innovations are they cooking up? That's what I'm excited to see.
Me too. It's like peeking into the future of blockchain. Well, folks, that's our deep dive on Quibic's anti-dust feature. She covered a lot today. Hopefully you learned something new, maybe even got a little excited about the possibilities. It's a testament to the Qubic team, how they're building a network that's secure, efficient, and user-friendly all at the same time. Pretty impressive stuff.
It's been a pleasure breaking this all down with you. Until next time, keep those brains buzzing. Keep exploring the amazing world of blockchain.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And that's a wrap for this deep dive. We'll be back soon with another one, exploring more fascinating corners of the blockchain universe. Until then, stay informed, stay engaged, and as always, happy diving.